Tiki, I hate to start the show with, in an alarming tone or with an alarming tone or being an alarmist here, but I would just like to remind everybody that the Yankees sucked in October. I mean, they historically sucked. And the Yankees have not done a damn thing to get better.
They signed Aaron Judge.
To get better.
Okay, you're right.
Than they were a year ago. And
I just had to have a little retort.
I hear you. I mean, that's it, because they haven't done anything. And all these big names coming off the board. Listen, I didn't think they were going to get Carlos Correa or Bogarts or Trey Turner or, make a play for DeGrom. But all these names are off the board now. The Mets have done what they've done, and the Yankees have done what they've done with Aaron Judge here. But that's it. And I think that as you start to see the way this Carlos Rodon market is shaping up, the Yankees better not chintz out here. Mm-hmm. Because the way the Yankees look right now, it looks like the only way that they're trying to beat the Astros is to outpitch them. Because they're going to go to bat with the same lineup unless they make a trade, which they probably will. So, listen, this is not bashing the Yankees in finality here. This is, though, sounding the alarm saying there's not many good names left on the board for the Yankees to get.
It's interesting because so many teams have spent money this offseason. What is it? What's the number I saw? Almost $3 billion, or maybe even over $3 billion in contracts. Now, some of those are way out, like Carlos Correa, who's 13 years and $350 million.
Good luck with that.
I know for the Padres. But my point is, people are spending money, and owners are spending money. Stevie Cohen is way over the Stevie Cohen tax right now. The Padres have spent money. The Giants just spent money. The Rangers spent some money. Teams are spending money. The one team, surprisingly, that's not is the Yankees. And it's hard to find the reasons why. Like, we know that they're one of the most valued franchises in totality in all of sports, just like the Cowboys are, what Jerry Jones does down there. It's all advertising money and commercial money and merchandising, all that stuff. It makes you a rich organization. But to me, it feels like some of these owners, and while he's extraordinarily wealthy, is a quarter as wealthy as Stevie Cohen, but he's also been diversifying. He bought into AC Milan. Like, he's talked about how all these bills he has due. To me, it feels like Hal's business sense, he does have his MBA, right? His business sense is getting in the way of his Yankee sense. And it's frustrating to us as fans. And again, this might be great business for him. Like, he might be preserving and building wealth for whatever. But for us as fans, we're impatient with it because all these other teams are spending loot and the Yankees are not, when we know that they have it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Mets, by the way. The Mets pre-arb CBT payroll right now is $350, all right? So you're going to add in the luxury tax. You're going to add in some pay raises. You're going to get an outfielder, an extra outfielder. That's going to bring it to about $400 million. Now, I understand.
I think it's 414 to be exact.
Is it? It's okay.
Somebody
Over
did the
400.
math.
There you go.
I can't remember who did it. Somebody did the math.
That's insane, dude. I mean, that's insane. And I'm not saying you just go out there and you hand Rodon the blank check, and I still think the Yankees will get this done, although the Cardinals are going to nibble, the Giants are going to nibble, the Twins are going to nibble. I know he's looking for 7 years, at least 30-ish per year, and I understand that there's an element of business where you don't just give it all away. You've got to negotiate, understood. But it needs to be addressed again. The last time we watched the Yankees play baseball, 9 games in October, 5 with the Guardians and 4 with the Astros. They had 284 at-bats. They hit 173, and their OPS was 579. So the judge move doesn't do anything to address those flaws that were so visible a year ago. And I'll tell you, we were talking about this before the start of the show. Like, if the Yankees miss on Rodon and they do either a Syndergaard, who's just not built for New York at this point, or Uvalde, who's had multiple Tommy Johns, he was already once a Yankee. Like, if they go to bat with that kind of a rotation and they think they're doing anything in terms of winning or selling out a lot, they are sorely mistaken. Like, their most valuable asset, and this needs to be known as well, their most valuable assets are, in terms of contracts, are Judge, Cole, and Stanton. Mm-hmm. And what's the common denominator there? They're all in their prime. Mm-hmm. Now, if we were sitting here saying, and we could actually have this conversation, well, the roster doesn't really sync up with a win-now mode, meaning if they had like Volpe and Cabrera and Peraza and like a young catcher who was just coming up and a young rotation, then maybe there's a different discussion. But their three best players are in their 30s, making big loot. The window is now.
Yeah.
They better do something.
Well, I think the Yankees are in a take a risk mode. And the risk is not the money, spending the money on vets to bring in and win now. The risk is, God, we better just hope that these young guys got it. We better hope that they have it. You remember last offseason when they go into spring training and Aaron Boone is talking about some of these young pitchers, right? And he's like, J.P. Sears, he looks really good.
J.P. Sears.
Right?
Yeah.
Marinaccio, he looks really good. And you could tell that they were trying to groom them to be players. Now, Marinaccio turned out to be a really good starter. He just, he faded down the back because of injuries, I think. He put him on, he was doing us on IL. J.P. Sears, they moved at the deadline. Now, was it worth it? Maybe, probably not, because he went out to, where was he, Oakland, and he was great. He was great for them. And so I think that the Yankees, they don't want to spend for somebody else's guy. They want to develop their own and hope that they turn into the players that they drafted them to be. That's risky. It's not like going to cost you money risky.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you wins risky. That's where the Yankees are right now.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the fan. We'll get to the football stuff later. Huge weekend coming up. I think you and I have a few things to debate as well. I got wins. Some of your Jets takes with the quarterbacks and Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones. People hit me up. What is Tiki high? What is Tiki doing? I have my little notes, so I will get to those a little later.
Well, we'll find out what the Zach Wilson status is in about 45 minutes or so.
Coach, you got to speak. We'll actually play it for you, not live, but anything meaningful is said. If Zach is not elevated to number 2, we have big issues here. Or at least Zach has big issues. But listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Yankees right now are still irrelevant in terms of the championship picture. They were miles from a World Series. All you had to do, not even watch the Astros series, you just merely had to watch the Guardians series, where they escaped by the skin of their teeth against a team that had that feisty. They can run. They put the bat on the ball. Blah blah blah. I mean, you're supposed to blow a team like that out the water, and the Yankees were, toothed and nailed. They almost got eliminated there. So I am of the belief, and I have been for a while, that Rodon will be here and that they will make the trade with the Pirates for Reynolds. I've said that. And if that happens, then all of a sudden this discussion is very different because Reynolds is a switch hitter. He's got power. He's very good. He replaces the albatross and that hole that is Hicks and whatever else they tried to piece together in left field. I'm fine with that. Then you go to battle, see what the young kids have, and see where you are. But, all the presents are open. Correa, Bogarts, Turner, DeGrom, Senga, Jose Abreu, Bassett, which, by the way, bring Bassett on. Yankees are going to tee off on Bassett in Toronto. Got no issue with that. Wilson Contreras, 5 years, really good catcher, $85 million. Where are the moves to improve? Not just bringing Judge back. How are the Yankees better? They're not. And think about this, Teak. You're counting on... Now, I am of the belief that he'll be fine, but you are counting on Cortez to replicate last year. Is Sevy healthy? What about Montas, who didn't show health or any sort of penchant to pitch here in New York? That big game, big city feel. I don't like what I'm seeing with the Yankees. Yeah, well, because we're seeing nothing.
Well, the problem is it just doesn't feel. Everybody else seems to be trying to get better with their wallets, like they're trying to buy more success, whereas the Yankees are not. And it feels like a team, any team in Major League Baseball could do it. It's the Yankees because that's historically what they've done. They're not doing it right now, and it feels like they're getting lapped. Now, the risk of the young kids, again, it could pay off, but it very easily could not because you just don't know with young kids. You just don't know.
That's a tough way to try to end the championship drought.
I agree.
That's a tough way to try to end that streak.
Especially after you just sign Aaron Judge.
I hear you.
He's going to be 31, and I'm not. This isn't an age thing because I still think he's got a few years
for sure
of just mashing and being great. But he's still he's in the window right now. His window is right now. If you want to make a star out of Aaron Judge, an iconic forever Yankee star out of Aaron Judge, you got to win a championship with him in his prime, not with him hanging on, being a DH.
I agree.
Bats, a year. You got to do it now.
Like A-Rod at the end. Yeah, I'm with you, T. Kev's in Manhattan, first up on the fan. Kevin, how are you, bud?
Awesome. You guys do a great job every day. You actually make radio fun again.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kevin.
Okay.
So, two quick points. First on the Mets and Yankees. The Mets and Yankees are going along similar paths when it comes to spending money. The Yankees, to me, are the best team that money can't buy. And the Mets are spending a ton of money on pitching. The Yankees are looking for Rodin. But you took the wind out of my sail because at the end of the day, even if the Yankees get Rodin, they're not that much better. And unless Rodin, and even with the Mets, with Scherzer and Verlander, unless these guys are going to hit home runs, you got to get some pop in the lineup or you're going to go no place.
Well, hold on a second. Let me just throw this at you, though. You got to remember, the Astros don't have Verlander at this point. So if Cole is Cole and maybe even a little bit better, but, in the neighborhood of what he's been very good. He's been a little, I think, undersold by a lot of Yankee fans. And you have Rodon at the top of the rotation. Now you're at least in a position, theoretically, to unseat the Astros. But you got to do it with pitching if you're not going to acquire any sticks.
No, that's what I was going to say. It's got to be with pitching, and you hope that Giancarlo Stanton is healthy the whole time. That Volpe or whoever it may be comes up and is I don't think Peraza is going to be a masher, but Volpe could be. It's got to be one of those kids. And again, I keep saying it. That's the risk. I want those kids to work out. I think it'd be phenomenal. It would feel good. It would justify everything that Brian Cashman's been saying for the last 3 seasons. But it's still got to happen. And until it happens, it doesn't change, right? Until it changes, it doesn't change. You got to know and we're not going to know that until they actually get out on the field and start playing.
Listen, you know what my offseason wish list has been for the Yankees. Retain Judge, sign Rodon, eat one of the contracts. I'd love to eat them both, but it's not going to happen. Get rid of Donaldson or Hicks.
You could trade one of them, right?
Yeah, for sure. But, you're going to eat some of the money is what I'm saying. Either trade.
Hicks, you could probably trade.
Probably could.
Straight up. It's only $10 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Donaldson's, would be better if they get rid of him. But who's taking on $25 million for a guy who looks like he's done?
Nobody.
So I'm trying to be realistic. Just get rid of one of those guys, and then he traded for an outfielder because everybody else is gone. Not that I really wanted Nimmo, but at least he was a fourth option. Like I had Reynolds, Benintendi, Reynolds, kind of 1A, and then the Japanese import and Nimmo. And 2 of those guys are gone already. So the Yankees, I still believe they're going to do stuff that's going to have a very different feel come opening day. But it's almost Christmas, and until they do it, they haven't done it, and it's a little time to worry now because they're showing no signs, or at least until the Rodon thing is done, you're hearing, wow, there's a sizable gap. And when you hear that with the Yankees now, that makes you worry. Back in the day, you never worried. Oh, there's a big gap between the Yankees and Giambi. Whatever, they'll figure it out. They'll give them the money. Oh, big gap, A-Rodney, whatever. They'll go get the money. I don't know if we fully believe that they'll do that now. I hope they do. We'll see if they do. And if they don't, they're going nowhere. Then the team doesn't win again.